Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Hi everybody, and welcome into a special Sunday matinee, and I think we all could use just a little break from the ordinary and the everyday, so I brought some great guests in today to talk to you a little bit about history and what's this HAGS and Harlots, what's that all about? History we can figure out, but let me tell you something, in the paranormal, I certainly believe, and the gentleman I have on tonight believe, that history is a huge part of the paranormal and true investigation and just connecting with our past. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my friend Mike. Come on in here, Mike. Let's see if we can get you in if I don't screw this up. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Welcome in. Oh gosh, Mike. Oh, wonderful.
Happy Sunday. Happy Labor Day.
Happy everything, right? I'll take all the happy I can get right now. How about you? Right. Mike is with the Heritage Hunter Society. He's got a great, wonderful series coming out right behind him. And he's got a great series coming out. And, you know, Mike's been on the show before, and he's absolutely got the heart and the intent that, you know, it kind of drew me to his love for history. And, you know, we just clicked. And you find out in this whole genre, you kind of attracts like, and we met two other gentlemen when we went to Gettysburg, and I got to see you again. You introduced me to these great guys, so without further ado, let's bring on Eddie Howell and Brandon Auman. Come on in, guys. Say hi to everybody. There they are. Hi, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for taking part of your Sunday to share with my chat. Oh, wow, look at all the people. Let me say just hi to the chat for a second. Eddie and Brandon and Mike, I want you to meet some of the best chat and some of the best mod you'll see out there. Welcome in Pseudonym, my fantastic mod. Laura Stevens, another mod. We got Bart Brett, Slow Motion. I'm sure Uncommon Belief is in here. Cassie, hi. Patriot 1749. Yep, there's Ed Jackie, hi. Terry Brown, Christabel. I think Pam Smith was the first one in here. So guys, listen, if you've got any questions for these gentlemen, this is going to be an easy breezy thing, but most of it is going to be from their vantage point. How is the way you guys investigate what drew you in, right? Your first, maybe it wasn't an experience, maybe it was a story, you know, maybe it was, gosh, I know that Treasure Island, I got interested in pirates. I mean, was it something you guys had as kids, your first experience or your first intrigue in this? Hi, whoever that is back there. Hi. Hey, have you ever seen a ghost?
That's some stranger. You never even lived there.
That's
you got ghosts?
Ghost. That's the first ghost of the whole
full
podcast.
Full apparition. First 5 minutes of the show.
It's a good thing.
Expect nothing less.
Okay, that was a ghost.
Okay. Mike, you want to take that? I mean, we can go back and we'll get everybody's little bit of background and stuff too, but just, you know, what we're all drawn here for a reason. I think you guys are no different. What drew you as a kid?
Definitely. I didn't have any experiences at a young age, but I came from the generation of every TV show was haunted, spooks, scary, you know, the Munsters, the Addams Family, every show out there of our generation was horror, and I loved it. And at 14, I read an article by Dr. Hans Holzer that talked about recording. And so I tried it, and that's really what put me on the path at that age, 14. So, but I didn't grow up in a haunted house, and I didn't have any experiences. But once I got that recording in 1978, that put me on the path all these years.
Absolutely. That's a good hook, though. That's a good hook, and it kind of Holzer and get in there and then just fix it for life. Once you get in on Holzer, I don't know if you do you guys get a hold of some Hans Holzer or anything, or ever hear about him at a young age, or or was it something else? Eddie, you can go.
I knew about him through Michael, actually. That's kind of, I mean, I knew of him, but I knew more about him now because.
How about you, Brandon? Have you somebody you're hearing about now? Because you're relatively new to taking action on this, isn't that true?
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard of the name.
Okay. Well, you're going to want to go back and check out old Hans. Okay. He had a way about him, didn't he, guys? He just, he really did. He really pioneered a lot of this. I mean, Peter Atwood and some others too, but Hans had a way of communicating with the dead as well as the living and the history of the place, and he was really a trailblazer in that, wouldn't you say, guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. He taught me how to record without using a microphone, and that's how I got my first recording using static off of a receiver. Going down to zero and just pure static. And hooking a reel-to-reel up to it, and I just let it run for 2 hours, and that's when I captured something. So it wasn't any radio transmission or anything like that that I recorded.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's fascinating. He definitely was very unique.
He's really something. And at the Hoover House now, Eddie and Brandon, what started you as? What was the? Maybe not started you as a kid or intrigued you or scared you? Was it the thing in the closet under the bed? Was it a story, Stephen King, Goosebumps? What was it?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much for having us on your show.
Oh, shoot. Thanks for coming on.
And thank you, Michael, for everything. We've worked a lot with Michael over the years. It started with me as I grew up in a house with ghosts. There were 3 ghosts. I didn't realize there were 3. I thought there was 1, but it turned out that there were 3 later. And I just learned over the years how to communicate with them and things to do. And yes, I was scared and didn't know exactly what to do about it. And lo and behold, in 2006, me and some friends started HAGS, North Carolina Haunts, Apparitions, Ghosts, and Spirits.
Okay.
Started investigating. Met Michael a few years later. We've done lots of things together. And then more recently, about 5 or 6 years ago, we brought Brandon in as we needed a new team member at the time. And he got the votes from everybody to get in because you have to have a unanimous vote to get in our group. And he's the only one that got him.
How cool is that? How cool is that? So what, Brandon, how about you? Is there something as a kid that drew you in or
when I was
later
a kid,
on?
I always saw the spirits of ghosts. But it actually kind of faded off as I grew up a little bit. I remember being in my old house way back when and seeing this man walking down the hall. And I was too young to know what it was. I just kind of backed up. I remember it vividly, backed up back into my room. I knew it wasn't my dad. So, and then I just kind of shut the door. But I've always been into the monsters, the vampires, the werewolves ever since I can remember. My favorite movie as a kid was Friday the 13th.
Oh.
So, Jason Voorhees and all that stuff.
Yep, my son too, my oldest. He loved that stuff. 3 years old, I felt like a horrible mom letting him watch that, but because if you hide it, if you say no, because if you told me no as a kid, you guarantee I'm going to go around behind your back and watch that movie, right?
My parents didn't want me to watch it, but I did anyways. But,
the chest going nuts.
15 years old, I seen a little boy in my parents' house. I wasn't the only one that seen it, and then my mom seen it. So we were kind of comparing notes together, and I moved in next door to Eddie, and we were talking about ghosts and stuff, and he was like, you know what, we do ghost investigations and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, really?
Wow.
So that's kind of how I got into it. So.
How cool is that, though? I can't tell you how many people that sounds familiar, because that's just it. My son he really liked movies like that, like one of his other ones, I can't remember, Shocker. I can't believe I let him watch Shocker. Freddy was bad enough, but this guy that gets executed he's a murderer, and he gets into the wireworks, the jail. He gets out, and wherever there's lightning or electric, man, he can be there to keep serial killing and stuff. It's crazy, but anyway. So he turned away from, he believes in all this and has an open mind about it, but he's not, I don't know. He was the first time in the cellar when we were all together. Now, Eddie, you missed that one, but let's back up a minute and let's go back to Gettysburg for a minute.
Okay.
How did you all feel just go in there, and what did you absolutely have to see and why? Was it an investigation? Was it a history part? Was it Devil's Den because you just wanted to feel those rocks? What was it for you guys at Gettysburg?
For me, I've been there 70 times now, and every time I've gone, it's been a different experience. Of course, I love history, so that's my big thing. I learned so much about the Civil War by going to Gettysburg, and that was really neat. And I had some friends that brought me that were historians, and we went to every monument, and we covered the place for 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
So we really got a great history lesson. But I wanted to see if it was, my number one thing was to go there and see if it was the most haunted town in the United States. And I definitely believe it is. A lot of experiences, capture a lot of things. And I love going back there. It's always something different. And then the bash, that's totally...
The bash.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful time for a great cause. For the people in the chat that don't know, we all met at the Gettysburg Bash. Again, you know, some of us have been there a couple times. We always meet some wonderful, wonderful people there you hadn't met before. Got to spend time with somebody who didn't last time, and it's always a great experience. But see, the thing is I believe, now I don't know if everybody here tonight does, but I believe that the spirits are drawn to that too. We're there for a good cause: terminally ill children and wounded vets. So everybody who showed up with that intent and that on their hearts and in their minds, right, are kind of carrying that energy there. So why wouldn't others follow them there? If you believe that loved ones can come to a wedding or, you know, a funeral for that matter, or birth or a birthday party or something, we've all heard those stories. I can't say it doesn't happen. You know, I have more leans for it than against it. So, Eddie, what was your draw to Gettysburg? What brought you there?
The first time I went, because I love history, first of all, but the first time I went, which was a couple of years back, Michael had invited us and a couple of other people to go and do some investigating, which we had a wonderful, wonderful time and learned about the town and things like that. This time, Michael had said that the bash was going on, and he had gone previously and really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
And wanted us to go and to meet some of these people. And obviously we met you, which is a wonderful person.
Oh.
And met some other nice
checks
people.
In the mail, honey.
And what was really cool is to those people that are listening or reading, however they're doing it on this podcast, the thing that was really cool about going to the bash is there's different kinds of speakers, and there's also a lot of people representing themselves or their groups, and you can find different things if that's what you're looking for, because it's not all one thing or one person or one idea. It's a lot of different ideas that people bring to this bash, which is what I thought was really cool. Absolutely.
And heart. I mean, and heart. To come together for that, it has to create this just, you know, a ball of light energy, you know what I mean? That's how I always think of it, because anybody gathered in that kind of love, and even just the hugging again and seeing people again and being able to be out and about, it was a great energy. How about you, Brandon? What drew you to Gettysburg? What do you,
I was born in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
My hometown is 3 hours north of Gettysburg. I always wanted to go. I always liked the history of the place. I got invited with Michael, and he invited us, and really wanted to go, wanted to check it out. I was drawn more to the battlefields. I wanted to explore the battlefields a little bit better. Definitely next time that we take a trip up there. That's exactly what I want to do. Is I want to walk through the fields.
Yeah, absolutely. A wheat field,
Kind
the
of take
peach
it all
tree,
in.
the peach orchard, the Devil's Den. I took my husband there, and he can't walk too good, because it's just on unlevel ground and everything else. He's had a broken ankle, just a motorcycle accident. Anyway, so it's two places you're getting out of the car. Where Lincoln said the Gettysburg Address, the real place, where the old makeshift stage was, crisscrossed kind of between Green Cemetery and the National. Am I right, Mike? I think I'm close. It was kind of across. It's not where the monument is. It's up a little bit.
Yeah, they won't give you the exact location. It's so strange that they won't tell us exactly where he did the speech. Maybe they don't know.
Well, that's basically what I said. Come out here and just walk around, kind of stomp. Eventually, you can say you stood where the Gettysburg Address was said. But there and Devil's Den. I wanted him to get that idea because in the car you can get on little round top, big round top, and you can look down and not have to really get out of the car. If you want to do the trail up and around, you can walk it if you want. But it's rocky. It's not. I'm sure it was a lot worse for the the boys and men that went up that daggum hill and came back down with bayonets. But it's hard enough for us to just walk on a nice sunny Saturday, but we weren't wearing wool uniforms, and my heart breaks. Yeah, it was brave on both sides lost that day, and you can't help but absorb it. So if you're any kind of an empath, I know Brandon and I talked a little bit about that and absorbing. I don't know, Eddie, do you consider yourself a sensitive or empathic or nothing? You feel he feels nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
He's cold-hearted.
It's totally dead inside, chat.
No, I could usually tell when ghosts are around, but I figure most people can do that. But I've always just pretty much relied on trying to get the evidence one way or another.
Okay.
And that's, I don't. Now I might be empathic. I don't know, but I don't claim to be. So.
Okay, so it's not something that's right there on your surface. How about
that's more his thing?
Right. But how about for you? Would you consider the natural intuition? Kind of, sort of like being sensitive and empathic, or do you even agree to natural intuition?
I don't even know if it's a natural intuition as much as the fact that I grew up with ghosts and had to learn how to deal with them, and I didn't want to do that because I don't think most people want to do that.
Right. You just kind of, a lot of people do. They close the door on that,
And it just happened over time. I just learned, like, when they were around and, to communicate with them. And then I see all these ghost hunting shows and all these things, and some of the things I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then other things I'm like, yeah, I don't agree, or that's not the way it happened to me, or I didn't do it that way.
But sometimes I think it may also be it's your own individual path and what you're ready to understand, what you're ready to connect into, what you want to exercise, whether it's for Mike it's history and not letting that history die. I think he and I connected so well with that because I have that in my Native American heart, and reaching back and a little bit of my Scottish heritage to, because we all realize, I think sitting here tonight, it's safe to say that without our ancestors, we wouldn't be here. If they didn't trudge through whatever nonsense they had to get through, war and famine and you name it, disease, all of it. And they didn't get through and live on, we wouldn't be here. And I think that's what you try to reach back and pull to the surface, Mike. I mean, with your work and everything, and I don't know. Do you guys help? Are they connected to what you're doing, Mike, with film and things like that, or no?
Oh yeah, they are such great guys and great friends. We're really like a big family, and we've worked together probably 11, 12 years together. We don't see too many other paranormal groups doing that.
That's fantastic.
With all the drama and the backstabbing that's out there.
And it does happen.
6 months a year.
It does happen, folks.
So when you find really good, really genuine people, it's really great to be able to work with them. And yes, we've done so many investigations together, and Eddie's in my show more than me.
That's terrific. I'm gonna ask you this question.
But
I'm gonna
he's so
throw in
good.
a side question from one of my fantastic mods, pseudonym. Hi, love. Thanks for all you're doing, and Jackie for dropping all the links. They're dropping links to all your Facebook pages, guys, and
awesome.
your websites and your connections
thank you.
in the chat.
Nice.
And I have fantastic mods. I have
Thank
Black
you.
Ops mods, but Sue wants to know here. She's asked a couple times, so let's find out the equipment or evidence. What's your wheelhouse? Mike, I think I could guess yours is a lot of EVPs and recordings and stuff like that. You each want to take that and tell us a little bit?
Yeah, Eddie.
Well, we mostly stick to pictures, video, and recordings.
Okay.
And me and Michael have had long discussions about this. We have tried some of the various applications and some of the machines or things that people have come up with, and I'm not going to talk bad about anybody's equipment or whatever, that's their business. But for us, and when I say us, I mean NC HAGS and working with Michael, we really have figured just personal situations, cameras, videography, and recorders. I mean, voice recorders. That's what we stick with. You know, once in a while we'll go out on a limb and try a little of this or a little of that, but those are the most solid things that we get things with, you know?
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I've said on this show before, I'm not a techie. I mean, I can't. This is a miracle. The show's even gone live. Is it? I make sure it's live, right? 5-5 chat. You guys can hear and we're live, right? So that's a miracle right there for me.
Yeah.
So I can't explain the white noise radio one where I don't. But I know. But I've heard stuff. So what does that mean? And I've heard the one where it pulls out of, I don't even know the names. I love the laser grid. I think that's kind of cool. And all this different stuff. And I think it's good that people are innovating and trying to get, but when you start getting into things like Frank's box and stuff like that, are you really, it's like talking about a Ouija board and say what you want to say about a Ouija board, but this is what I mean. How do I know who I'm talking to other than my own filters? If you take that out, I got nothing. Because I've had human beings that are alive lie to my face. So how do I know what spirit's telling me the truth over the board? But you get what I'm saying. Not to say that you can't get stuff out of that, because when you bring in other things like filters and maybe sensitives, maybe a medium, maybe somebody's thinking the same thing you are and you just haven't said it across the room, and then you talk later and match it up. That's cool to me when so many different things can match up. Like I've heard you say, Mike, in the you know, in other shows and talking to you, a flashlight going on and off isn't really evidence to you. And I get that. Totally respect it. But I'm saying if I've got a flashlight going on and off and telling me no, my dowsing rods are telling me no, I get a recording that says no, and maybe something else like one of those little boxes or something with that spells out the words has something like, you know, 9 or something. I mean something. But just that's incredible. And then if you get a picture too, or the medium said, you know, I saw this, did you feel that too? That's all cool to me, you know.
Wow.
As far as the favorite equipment, Brandon, do you have one that you wanted? You know, I wasn't sure what you had in the cellar that night. What did you have, an EMF meter or recorder?
No, I just had a voice recorder and a camera.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
usually what I go to. I'll have my voice recorder on me. I'll have a camera so I can snap pictures, and I have it set up where it'll say it'll do sequence. If you hold the button, and it'll just keep snapping, because you just never know when it's gonna come out or what you're gonna get. So yeah, this voice recorder is, because I can pick out EVPs pretty decent. I think Michael and Eddie can attest to that.
And it takes a lot to go through all this evidence too, to see if you see something, and going through the pictures and the film, and Mike, I know you really like that. What do you call it? Is it panoramic? What was the type of pictures you were taking?
I use thermal video. That's my biggest thing. And I like full spectrum. A lot of people buy full spectrum, and then they never know how to use it properly. So, you know, like everything else, you buy it and you throw it in a case, and that's what it's. So,
you throw away the instruction manual.
If you really learn how to use it, you capture really good evidence. But you have to understand. I always tell people, I said, learn your equipment. You know, everybody goes out and buys things, and they don't know anything about them. And to me, that's not a real investigator. That's not somebody that's really doing research.
Right,
that's a hobbyist. That's somebody on the weekends doing it as a hobby. And that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's true. But, and a lot of people have fun with it.
Yeah, if you're going to call yourself a core investigator and really dedicate yourself to doing this work for a long time, you're not going to be missing apps and things like that.
Right.
Those things, you know, like the first thing that, fellow put out with the box that had 2,148 word vocabulary. And
so they could pull from
every word. Right. He handpicked every word to put in that thing. So I feel those boxes they're EMF meters, but they just have a vocabulary that is kind of random. And I always say to people, I say, if you're a ghost tomorrow, would you know how to manipulate that thing to say
great
certain
question.
Words? And I don't think that you could. So I don't put any stock in it.
Right. What a great thing to bring up and think about. If you were a ghost tomorrow, would you be able to work this stuff? I can't tell you how many times I've thought to myself, who am I talking to? What period of time are they from? What was their speech like? I can remember standing, I think it was in the wheat field at Gettysburg, maybe 5-6 years ago, and I'm apologizing for wearing pants. Because I'm thinking, if I'm standing here talking to these young men, first of all, I got to convince them I was a soldier so they don't think I'm a liar. They're going to have to be able to read my intent. They obviously knew how to work the equipment. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but Mike, you read my book. Every word was true, and everybody else might see it from a different. Thank you. Everybody might see it from a different vantage point, but there were other people there who saw exactly what I was feeling or what was going on with me. Now the thing is they knew how to work that equipment. They gave me a yes, just like I explained before, with the flashlight, with the EMF meter, and the dowsing rods. All confirmed, same stuff. And the hesitation and the feeling and the overwhelming energy I was getting off of each of them confirmed those things too. So I understand exactly what you guys are looking for. And the thing is I think you get it. I think you get it because you do get it. It's heart, it's intent. You want to tell their stories. You're not all about ego and everything else. It's about you're going in with the right energy. And the chat's saying thank you for the interesting answers, and I'd like to thank you guys too for that. So I think that makes all the difference, though. What do you think?
Well, what I believe, we're going out there, and so we're putting our butts on the line, and so the evidence that we come across, Eddie can attest to this, Brandon can attest to this. We are so crucial and so critical of really good captures that we get, because we want to really know that we're getting good data. And we just don't share it with each other. We'll send it we have about 4 or 5 different groups that we work with, and I always send my stuff to everybody, and I want their opinions, because I want to hear the different thoughts. So that's important. But, it just depends if you're very serious about this, if this is a career for you, and you want to really help spirits, and you want to help people that are experiencing hauntings, versus just doing it as a hobby and things like that. So when you say you have evidence, you really have to have excellent evidence, not just standard evidence, not a small thing here, a whisper here. You got to have some really good evidence to back up your bullshit.
Go back up your bullshit.
Back up the bullshit.
Isn't it true though? But I'll tell you something. You sit around with like a group like us, or many of the other people that were at the bash, and it really does come down to, look what I got. Look what do you think? What do you think of this? You're not trying to put it up there as, this is the be all end all evidence. You're like, oh my God, I think I got something. I think I heard, that little girl say no. You guys looked at all of that stuff. It couldn't hold up to hard evidence, meaning there were people down the hall and all the way to the right that were talking. It was echoing down that hall. It wasn't clean, but I know what I felt. I
You
know
have to
what
be
I
in a
felt.
controlled environment, so
Exactly.
you got to be in a controlled environment.
Absolutely.
1 or 2 people. You can't have 3 or 4 people in a room. You can't keep
True.
track of people talking. There's no way.
That's true. That's true. So, for that, and I totally respect, having that tight
Right.
edge on evidence. But when you're experiencing it too, you know what I mean? And you get something, I mean, it's
Well,
like
especially
crazy.
you. Yeah,
And
you're very
it's just
sensitive.
for you. And that's it. That's all you need. And sometimes, because there's no way when we're in that bedroom and we hear that sound like it happened to me, I was in this really crucial time and I'm yelling out and having an argument with somebody I said I didn't believe in. So you can imagine, I hear this outside. Who are you talking to then? But I know that voice too. It's come up 5 or 6 other times in my life where I recognize it. I can't prove that on tape. I can't prove it on video. I can't. Do you know what I mean? So there's other stuff out there too. But it's great to know there's groups like this, like HAGS. And there's the HAG part. You've heard the history and the HAG part to the title. Harlots are coming. Hang in there, chat.
Uh-oh.
So throw that out. You can't put it up as evidence, but it might be enough for you. Does that make sense? I saw it. I felt it. And that's important. And anybody can have that. That's what's cool about
and
this.
I work with a lot of people that have been in this field a long time, and they tell me, I like them, they say, I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I'm proving that to myself, and that's all I care about. And that's their
right.
And then there's people like us that want to share with like-minded people. We don't want to share stuff, and we're not interested in the skeptics. We're very skeptical, and you have to be skeptical.
Yeah,
but there's people out there that are just downright mean and have no manners. And if you're going to come into these things, come in with an open mind. So, that's why, you don't really put stuff out on YouTube or Facebook. Because then you get all the armchair experts just jumping you and attacking you. And,
armchair experts.
Go
ahead,
I
Eddie.
used to put up with that. I don't put up with that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got a lot of NC HAGS videos of investigations on YouTube. And Michael's right. Everybody thinks they have all the answers. And not that I have a problem with people giving their opinion, but it's like Michael was talking a little bit earlier, I think, saying he's worked with a lot of different people, and we have worked with a lot of different people. And luckily, being friends with Michael, we all know each other, basically.
Right.
Yeah, weeded out the bad people, mostly. And if we had gone in this to be famous, then we must have really picked something we're horrible at, because we've been doing it like 17 years for NC HAGS, and Michael's been doing it longer.
Right.
So we're not trying to
it's
be
a lot of
famous.
time.
Yeah, we have a lot of
time.
fun. We meet a lot of nice people, but we also have met some really interesting people. So we don't always just go, oh, this is what we got, and we know this is what it is. We have friends throughout, like, network, and he knows who I'm talking about. Michael does. We know Chris Cook that's near Charlotte, and we've sent him stuff to help us with. There's a guy in Pennsylvania, Mr. X, that we've sent all kinds of pictures and videography to help us decipher things. And so it's like we network with people that we trust. And it's really worked out.
It's so important.
It's really worked out for us to get really good information and to know what we're pretty good at and figuring out, or maybe we're kind of off the mark with a few things. Makes us rethink it.
We're always learning too. We're always learning off of each other and our mistakes. And I've watched groups with integrity work, and it's just so different than anything you see on TV. I mean, we've really got this generation, the past couple of decades, has really gotten gypped on some of the really heartfelt ghost shows that I used to have when I was a kid, like sightings, or even Unsolved Mysteries used to have such great, replays of a little bit of history, and kind of left it up to you to think, and it was intrigue. And I think, again, like the beginning of this, we talked about what intrigued you, what drew you to this. gosh, that's what drew us to those shows. There's not a lot of that going on now. Everything, it's like every time a board creaks, you step on, it's a demon. It's a demon. And I know you guys, because you carry that intent and that light with you. So I know a lot of you guys haven't bumped into, I've heard you talk a lot of negative stuff. I think you draw what you give. You give what what do you think on that? Do you get what you put out? Do you, if you're provoking and, it's all about bleeding skulls and trying to debunk everything, calling the homeowner a liar on national TV and stuff like that. That's a lot of negative stuff, but it's happened. It's happened. Yeah. Do you think that that's why you haven't bumped into a lot of negative, or have you bumped into a lot of negative?
Bits and pieces, but not, for the most part, not very much at all. I agree with you. It is partly what you put out and what your expectations are. And from the very beginning, the night that we started NC HAGS, we made a decision that we would not do demonic type or negative type cases because we didn't feel comfortable with that. And plus, we all kind of stood at different places with that whole subject matter. So we just wanted to go for regular history, ghost houses, haunted houses, graveyards, regular things. We were not interested in the scary, freaky nature of it.
Why would you even want to go and dabble in things like that?
Right.
I mean, why would you want to search out the dark energies and try to communicate with them? I know I would. So I just kind of leave that to you.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the paranormal that are true thrill seekers. And they really get off on doing demon work, and I've met a lot of them, and that's their thing. So, but what's really good is I not that I really have a lot of faith in the demon end of it. I've been doing this so many years, and I've traveled other countries, and I've been all over the place, but I've never had a negative experience. But maybe that's me. Maybe very lucky.
Could be what you're putting out too. Could be what you're putting out too. That light is so strong. I mean, it really is, guys. I mean, you can tell, and you can tell when you meet somebody else like that. I mean, there's not one of us sitting here today, and I would venture to name most of the chat too. Probably a high percent of the chat who wouldn't feel comfortable being on a ghost investigation with somebody cursing whoever's there and challenging them to push them down the stairs or whatever the hell it is they're saying nowadays. But you've seen it. I remember watching one where they wanted to try. They were chasing a ghost so they could put it in a jar. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me! What?
Or even a little trap. Yeah, make a little box out of chicken wire
all
fence.
kind of. They were putting electrical waves. They were using those seismic balls. You get down to Spencer's at the mall for $29.95. They're doing all kind of stuff, chat. Trying to put a ghost in a mason jar. I'll tell you what. You keep the ghost. I'll just keep my sweet tea in a mason jar. How about that? Take the girl out. You take the girl out of Bama, but you can't take the Bama out of the girl. They make some serious sweet tea in the South, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not in the South, I mean, this is a poor substitute in New Jersey for sweet tea. But anyway, how about this? I got a little video.
Okay.
And I was wondering if it'd be okay to play a little video for the chat. And I want to show you. Now, we've talked a lot about chat. We've talked a lot. And thanks to everybody in here. If I missed you, thank you so much for coming in on this matinee. But we've got a little something special treat here. This tells you a little bit about who we're talking to. Now, don't turn red because I'm going to talk about you a minute. The integrity. Okay. Mike has had to go through teaching himself how to edit, how to videotape, put things together, how to layer stuff, music. I hear there's a wonderful story about the music. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she doesn't even want to watch anything about ghosts. She watches a little bit, gets a feel of it, and does it all on her thoughts, and it's absolutely beautifully.
And she's classically trained.
Beautifully done.
Trained, true professional.
It's so gorgeous.
She won't watch 2 seconds of the show, and then she'll write.
And she'll write. It's amazing. It's like it's meant to be. And I personally understand what you mean, because my husband's the same way. All the music in my show he's written, I think, in like 8 minutes flat, and he just sends it to me. I'm like, that's perfect. Don't change a thing. But people can do that, and I think that's their equipment too in the supernatural paranormal, because she might not be out there investigating with this or whatever, but she connected into something. She connected to that energy. You hear it. You hear it. And visually.
She's very spiritual, and so is her mother. Her mother is very
there you go.
But
there you go.
She's to the point where she doesn't want to see it because it'll stay with her and it will scare her.
Understood.
I understand that. So,
and some people are like
that's fine
that.
with me.
But she's still connected into the energy of it, I think. And I think it's unmistakable when you hear it. And the cinematography and everything else. So without further ado, do you have an intro for this? You know, this is a little clip. It's a teaser of something. Tell us.
Yeah, that's. I just put this little teaser together to show the first episode of the Princess Choir, and I just put it with some music, and it's really just 4-second clips of the actual show, and
this show.
I put it out there, and I've been getting all kinds of great reactions from the trailer itself. So,
it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and the show is going to be on. Is it Prime?
It's going to be on Amazon Prime DirecTV. And
yeah, wonderful.
I've got to finish one more hoop that I'm having trouble with, sizing for the cover art. But once I get that, I worked till 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning last night working on this. People don't realize
they don't.
The time that I put into this thing.
They have they don't realize how hard it is just to make cover art. Poor Eddie, I took a chunk out of Eddie's head this morning, but it took me so long to get. I apologize, love. I'm so sorry. It was no ill intent, I promise. But in the cover art, you know, just to try to get everything together, you try to get everybody's name and pay homage to logos, and you know, there's not a lot of space. And then it has to be the right size, and that's what gets you. That's the 3 o'clock in the morning chat. So without further ado, let's take a little look at this, and we'll be right back. Okay, hang in there.
Thank you.
Brava! Brava!
Oh, that's a great show. I have to watch that.
Look at this. Patriot 1749. Here's what the chat thinks. Look at this. Look at this. We got Patriot 1749. Awesome. Love it. Pam Smith. Amazing. We've got pseudonym. Look at here. Nice. Edna in here. Look at this. Look, hard. She got Grey Wolf Paranormal in here. This is, like I said, chat, you guys are going to love this. Now, tell us again, how do we find it? Can you, when it comes out, you give me a link. I can send it to these lovely people here in the chat.
Yes. I've been advertising it through all the different radio shows across the United States, and all my good friends like you and once it's out, I'll send you the link.
All
and
right.
everybody can share it. It will be on. It's going to go all around. It's going to go to the UK. It's going to go around the United States.
Wonderful.
So any English-speaking language, so it'll cover. And,
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Eddie, I think, knows more than anybody how long this has taken me and what I've been through to create this.
So many people, Jack, Laura, Jackie, everybody here saying awesome and looking good. Well, that's the thing. We're going to definitely spread the word around, because the thing is, it's quality. It stops and asks the people who were there the stories and the history of the place. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Like, how did that connect for you with those stories of these places? It's like they also speak for themselves, do they not? When you go through, tell us about that.
Well, I had heard about the Country Squire back in 2010 through some other local groups that investigated, and then I met Eddie and his group, and we just really clicked, and we were really going to some really beautiful places and different things. So I contacted the owner, and she said, "Yeah, come down, have dinner, and we'll let you investigate." And that was in 2010, and we've been going back and forth now. It took about a 6-year break. There was someone that stopped everybody from getting in there, and so we reconnected with the owner. She let us come back in, and I did 11 investigations there, and we captured so many things. I have files and files. I couldn't even put the show. I had so much stuff, but I tried to pick out the best things and the clearest and the things that stand out the most. And we had this thermal woman that Billy and James from Southern Paranormal Society captured that night that I worked with them, and it was amazing. It was on video thermal, but it was very hard to see, and really you could barely make out that it was a woman. And Eddie is in his profession is really great at seeing different hues and colors and things like that in the X-ray field and medical. And
nice.
So he worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And then he had an expert friend that was a video expert, helped even more. And so between all these three groups working together, we created this thing where we can really see it now. And to me, it's one of the most amazing video captures ever in all the years I've done this. So I think it's awesome. And, but it just shows that working together with other people, what you can really create versus doing everything by yourself and just being your own little group and not working with anybody else. That's not my thing. And my whole show was really based on working with other people.
And their talents and what they're talented at and what their gifts are and their interests and everything else. And you're getting so much love here from the chat too, with just mad respect for being hard asses in the but that's what you gotta be. And see, the thing is you don't want to really throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't do that. They really consider, but very much like our friend Jeremy Enfinger that we've had on here before. He works at with the Black Vault a lot too, where he says it breaks his heart when he's got to say, I can't give that picture, anything more than like a 6 or a 7. 10s are hard to come by, but that's how you build integrity. And if you're talking about evidence to show somebody, it's like, this is really an apparition walking down the stairs. This is really an apparition sitting in a chair. Whatever. This is what was going on. It's hard. Right, Brandon?
Yeah, you want something that you can look at and without a doubt say, that is something that's not
something. That's something like that picture you showed me. First time I met you, you showed me a picture of someone standing by somebody. I think they were skiing or something. They were fooling around and laying in the road. And there was this full dark mass, human shaped in this picture. That's incredible stuff.
The boots were just so formed on that. And
Yeah.
I thought they were screwing with me because they know I'm in this field and they show me this picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just too perfect. It's just perfect. I got it. I put it in Photoshop, and I was messing around with it, trying to find the flaws in this picture, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it for nothing. And I'm just like, wow, this is something.
Yeah.
And once
those
you get
moments
something
are
like
amazing.
that,
Yeah.
Once you get something like that, you can't go back to an orb.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
True. You know, and I'm the same way. Once you get an apparition, that's what you want. You want that kind of quality. And if you learn to be really hard on your evidence, and really, like I always say, the standard is 99%. Everything out there is not paranormal at all. But it's that 1%. The 1% that we go after and that we study. And
well, let's be honest. If 1% is true, then something's going on, something out there.
Right.
You know, just like you could say about anything, UFOs, portals, all of these things. You know, anybody, even abduction and stuff. You know, I can't really say that I don't disbelieve, you know what I mean, in anything, because I just don't know enough about it. The bullseye keeps moving in this, and everybody's got to find what they're comfortable with, and it's wonderful. I think if anything over the past decades, now keep in mind, I'm an old gal, I go way back. I can remember when there were no ghost shows.
Young.
No, I mean, you were lucky if you got CBS Mystery Theater on the radio on a Friday night or something. You could catch it and get it in clear from New York, you know. Or, you know, we had the Universal movies on Saturday morning, Channel 11, and you might get lucky enough to catch something there. Abbott and Costello meet somebody or a ghost show. And you know what? Some of those movies, they had it down. They had the truth down. I'll tell you again. If you've never seen it, the chat knows she's gonna mention that damn movie again. You bet I am. It was a time of their lives with Abbott and Costello. Man, did they have it down. It had the history in it. It had, you know, the curse that held them to the well because they'd been lied about. They were called traitors, but they were really heroes. So the ghosts stayed.
Right.
They had the whole shebang in 1938. You know, and haven't we? You know, we haven't improved much from that, but we've grown more open-minded. You can talk at the water cooler about this. You know, you're not going to probably get, you know, run out of town, you know, tarred and feathered, run out of town because you did see an orb, or you know, your remote control flew across the living room by itself, or some other, or Aunt Edna came to visit you at your bedside. People are more intrigued now, I think, and more open-minded to talk about it. I don't know if you think about it that we've got so much more evidence than we had because I don't know what to go back and throw away. And what I mean by that is, as a little girl, looking at the brown lady of what's the name of the cast coming down the stairs, you know the one I mean, Eddie? Yes. Yeah. I mean, who's to say? Who's to say? You know, of course you can look back at the Victorian stuff and the spiritual movement with the ectoplasm cotton coming out of their mouth and the trumpets flying around and things like that. Absolute bunk. Yeah. But people are still trying to pull that kind of crap now.
Well, it's so easy now.
On that note,
on
that note, I want to say something because you had said a couple of points of interest about the television shows that you used to watch, and what do we consider good and integrity and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying this just because I know Michael and because I happen to be on his show, but if you want to see something very real and see something very documentary-like and historical, watch Michael's show. To the people that are out there listening to this podcast, I think one of them is Pam Smith, and I believe one of them is Grey Wolf Paranormal, and there were a couple other names you were throwing out there, and I just captured a couple of them thinking about it. Please give Michael's show a chance, because it's not running around screaming and trying to make up stuff. And I've known Michael, 10, 11, 12 years, and everything that he puts on his show, and which is the same for NC HAGS, everything we do with our videos, we never fake anything. It's always really what really happened and what we believe it to actually be. So I think it's good quality programming if you're looking for, real paranormal stuff. It's not bull.
A lot of the stuff, we'll all get together and we'll come sit at a table and go through all this stuff. And if we hear a whisper, we'll go through and let's just throw that one out. You can't really tell what it's saying. And then we'll play another one that's really clear. Okay, what is that saying to you? And then we'll all say, well, it's saying Bob. you know, okay, well, we got 4 people saying that it's saying Bob, and that's kind of how we do it.
Right. And that's the best kind because you have everybody's idea in there. I know, Mike, you trick, almost like trying to trick the ghost. You live on a haunted farm, and I heard a story about how, like, you'll see something, you won't say anything to anybody because you want to know that they're not just playing off of something you said, or, I saw the ghost looking out your 3rd floor window with the one that has no face, turns lights on and off. I saw it, because you went and told everybody at the local grocery store. You hold back information, so when it comes back around, you want to tell the chat that, that little story real quick? That was cool.
Oh, yeah. I purchased this little farm up in Tennessee mountains back in 2006. And started noticing odd things as I was ripping out floors and renovating and things like that. And so now it's been all these years I've had all kinds of experiences. But now they kind of used to me. They're bored with me. So when I'm there, it's very quiet. But when I do bring some of my friends there to visit in the paranormal field, I don't tell them anything about the farm. And I did have a friend, Tiffany, come visit a year or 2 ago. And she knows nothing about the farm. She walked into the living room and she said, "Who's that lady in the corner?" I said, "Oh, what lady?" She said, "There's a lady standing in the corner over there." And she described her and I said, "Oh, okay." That's how I like to approach things. Because then I get really interesting things.
It's that double whammy.
She talked to that woman for 30 minutes. She had a conversation with her. And I know the history of the people that people that passed away, and she was nailing it. And she didn't even claim to be a psychic. She's a very good investigator, and she runs the Brushy Mountain Prison, the paranormal side of it, up in Tennessee. And she's just an awesome investigator. But like I said, she walked in, and she was nailing it. So yeah, it's great to have something like that. And how many investigators would love to have a haunted farm?
Right. I mean, right. It's always great till 3 o'clock in the morning. What is this? First comes the oohing and the eyeing, then comes the running and the screaming, right? But I know you guys, you just grab that camera, and get all these pictures and stuff like that. I mean, several times in the chat here, I was reading and somebody said, "I live alone. I don't want to know what's walking around while I'm asleep." I get it. A lot of people say they won't investigate the place they live because they don't want to hear.
Right.
Are you guys that way? How about you, Brandon? You want to know what's in your house?
I feel like that I have visitors come and go.
Yeah.
I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just have this anxiety about me. And I just realized when we were at the Hoover House what the anxiety actually meant. Yeah, they come and go, and I think I told Michael, I said, the next time I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I think I'm going to just get my recorder out and see who it is. It could be a family member, it could be just spirits passing by or whatever. So I think I would do that just to see who it is.
Yeah. Now, I can't let you go by saying something like that. The chat will kill me if I don't ask you, so what do you think it is? What did you find out at the Hoover House? That you may be more in touch with your abilities? What?
So, in the whole house, I was comfortable for the most part.
Okay.
Going upstairs and everything else, going into different rooms, I was comfortable. There was one room that I just got an overwhelming anxiety. I didn't want to be in there. And I associated it with just like a fear. I'm like, I just kind of want to back out of this room. I don't want to be in there. And I'd go in the hallway and I'd feel fine. I'd go in the room and I felt this anxiety.
Did it feel like a push, or was it just or did it feel like a weight at all, or?
No, it was just like just uncomfortable. I didn't want to be in that room.
Right.
And I think me and Michael went in there and shut the door, and we were investigating. I was still feeling this anxiety. And I think we got a couple EVPs, did we not?
Funny thing is,
what'd you catch?
He told me he didn't like the room, and I said, "Oh, get in here." I said, "Sit down, I'll close it." And I closed the door, and it was pitch dark, and he's like, "I don't want to be in here." I'm like, "That's okay."
This is like you got to understand. Everybody in the chat gets this. This is what's called a paranormal party. This is a paranormal good time right now. It's like do you understand what just went down here, chat? He's saying, I don't want to be in this room. I've got this thing. His buddy says, come on, let's go in this room and just shut the lights off and sit here and do that. That's a good time. That's and there's not one of us here that wouldn't do it.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it.
We got a really good EVP too.
Well, there you go. Now,
in there
what did you hear? What did you hear in the EVP?
It sounds like a female voice, right?
Yeah, it was definitely female. It almost sounded like musical almost.
Yeah, she was humming. She was singing to us.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I can see you.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, that's
creepy.
how it sounds. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was awesome.
Creepy and cool, and that'll make your hair go up as I can see you. Because not only is it intelligent, not only is it right there, but at the time, if you think back, you might have felt that too. And Brandon, that maybe that's what you were feeling.
Yeah.
Now, was this the room where I don't want to get the history wrong on the house, but from what Dave Haney, our buddy, y'all know KSPS, they were here a couple weeks ago, chat, and Dave's introducing me to all these lovely rooms. One of them is called the Holster room, after Hans Holster, and all these different rooms. But I think it was the big one with the large bed where 2 people had died right there at the foot of that bed. Apparently that bed has been in the same spot for I don't know how long, because it just fits. And right there at the foot. Yes, is that the room?
It was the room.
That's the room.
Straight up the stairs, and it's immediately to the left.
Is that
I
it?
think it was the room that the people.
It was called the Hoover Suite.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is that the one? Is that the master bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one that 2
That's the
people
one
died.
with
On the floor, right there.
It has the 2 chairs that you can put down in.
Well, see, the thing is I don't think that you have to. I was thinking more the anxiety part, because anytime somebody is dealing with a sickness, even I believe one person died of an instant, a quick heart attack or something like that. There's got to be an imprint of that energy. That's a lot of energy to, out into a space, don't you think, guys? I mean, that's why we think battlefields. It could very well be, but especially if you had an illness and you were lingering. I don't know the whole story, and I don't want to, to guess, but it's possible without a haunting, is what I mean. It's just the energy of that space. Could be, yeah.
From what we captured just in that short night, we were only there for 2 or 3 hours, and we captured some really good, intelligent things. They definitely were intelligent. It wasn't residual.
Now, were they all more of a female energy to you?
That was the only woman that I noticed up in that room. And then I did have that experience down in the parlor with you sitting right next to me, where my friend who had passed away had visited there, which blew my mind because, like I said, I wasn't thinking about him. But it was 3 days before his anniversary of when he passed away. And he did pass away in Pennsylvania. So,
and he was young.
Like I said, yeah,
and he was a paranormal investigator who really really leaned more towards the EVP side of it as well. And probably if he's hanging with you guys, he was probably also just, very not skeptical, but careful and precise, and, which is what makes good, investigations, really. But I was there, Chad. I was sitting, like he says, right next to him, and I felt it too, But when you're doing that, not everybody might agree with the table tapping and everything else, but if you're also bringing in he's not even saying one way or another that he's all in on this table tapping. In fact, he's more on the other side of it. But I'm sitting next to him and I'm getting the feeling. I can feel the man, and I don't know him. You could feel a masculine energy come in. You could feel it zeroed in on you, because when they went to go get you, he was just there kind of waiting, like, come on, man. It's like, I'm here, where is he? I'm here, where is he? This is what I'm getting, and I know nothing about the guy. But he really was there to say something. I remember one of the questions I thought was really good. Did you ask the question of how on the other side, was the other side what you expected it was? Did you ask him that question, or was somebody else?
No, that was Jim had asked
Okay.
that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said better. That's what I got.
Yeah.
I got better. The lady across from me heard better. None of us are saying anything,
Yeah.
and the lady next to me agreed. Now, whether she said, she heard it or not, but everybody was getting that feeling. It's really amazing, but sometimes that real rush of, wow, I caught that full apparition, or like you guys say, ran it through all the tests. You, Brandon, running it through Photoshop, trying to make some sense scientifically and what you understand about tech. But for this side of it and the feeling side of it, that's a moment right there for somebody like me.
I ran my audio that whole session because I'm not a table tipper and I'm not into that thing. I want hardcore evidence. That's me. That's just who I am. So I put my dual recorder right next to us, and during that entire session, Chad never said one word.
You got nothing
to any of you. And so what you were picking up on, I don't know if it's genuine or not.
Right.
But it was very interesting. But then again, his personality would be a hard ass and just sit there and say, I'm not going to answer you.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until I
made you wait for it.
Over, and I mentioned how he passed away and about his children and this and that it struck a chord with him. Got loud reporting of him yelling and saying he was pissed. And it was, I know his voice. I hung out with him a lot. And, so I definitely recognized his voice, and it blew me away that, because I really was not. When me and Brandon are upstairs and you're all coming up, hey, there's somebody that wants to talk to you down here. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Who the hell wants to talk to me?
Who wants to talk to me? But to come through with that and give you that EVP, and, I was thinking, too, when you and Jim told me about that was, yes, he's, we always can read into it, too. And I try not to. I try to feel like, what if I was him and I was trying to get it out? We don't know how much energy. We're guessing. How much energy did it take to show up in the first place? Then let alone answer a bunch of questions around a table, trying to use that energy. I don't know what that takes. I don't know the amount. Or to get a clear EVP, push through enough. Maybe he had to just get angry. That we could read in, because we know a little bit about the background. You know him as a friend for many years. Yeah. What would he be pissed at? But, so you'd kind of try not to, right. But to try to get that energy together, maybe you just had to I'm pissed, And when you said it, I thought about...
I don't think he's happy there. No, he's not happy at all. Yeah, you're all saying, oh, it's better. I don't agree with that.
You think it's different. He's pissed.
He's pissed.
He's pissed.
I used to go and have lunch with him. I'd bring pizza, and he had his young chick. And he's pissed that his wife ended the way it did. And it was kind of by his hand.
Yeah.
Now, 6 years, 10 years to us is 6 minutes, 10 minutes.
That's true. That's true.
I believe that. So.
And that I do too. And that leads me to one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys. Being in this, we talked a little bit about what got you started, what got you intrigued, got you interested, and propels you forward every time you go in. With the history is a big thing, and keeping that preserved is huge. I think we all feel that way. But going through in the years and time you've spent, what's on the other side? Is
I
a theory?
What's on the other side.
Theory or hope or whatever.
I just.
What do you think, Eddie?
I just visited last October.
There you go. Tell us about it. What's on the other side?
I had a massive heart attack and died on the table. October 5th of 2020. And I saw the other side. At least the other side for me. I don't claim it for everybody else, but I saw it. And it was, without going into big-time detail, it was like looking at an oil painting come to life.
Wow.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm a person, me personally, I'm a Christian. I believe in heaven. I believe in Jesus. I believe in those things. I never push my beliefs on other people because I think everybody's got their own road.
Got their own.
But... even my heart doctor, when I told him what I saw, which was 3 months later when we were talking, he said it doesn't surprise him at all. He said he's heard very, very similar stories from many of his patients that have died on the table. And the day that I had the heart attack, that was the least thing from my mind. I mean, I had had heart problems before and had a heart attack years before, but this was like the big one. This was, they had to take me by ambulance and all those things. And I'm not sure exactly how it all ties in with the ghost hunting, but I can tell you for myself personally, it was absolutely beautiful, and it was the most unconditional love feeling I have ever felt in my life. It was all wonderful and beautiful. So that's
absolutely wonderful.
That's where I was headed.
Mm-hmm.
But then they brought me back. So I'm here with you.
Here we no, like almost like this is hell. Come on back. You're not done yet. We're not done with you. Is that the way you feel, Mike? Too? Is that what you think? What's the other side to you?
I look at it differently because I don't bring religion into it. I'm very spiritual, but I'm not very religious for my own reason. So, to me, I base things on my evidence, and I've had so much over the years. So much of the spirits that I record and capture are very sad. I don't get a lot of very happy, ecstatic spirits. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's that happy over there. But everybody has their own beliefs. So, just based on what I've recorded and experienced through investigating, I find it very sad. So I always tell people, I've met so many people that get into the paranormal and just go nuts over it. And I always tell them, I said, hey, paranormal's not going anywhere. I said, enjoy your life here, go out and do things, spend time with your family. You can do this on the side and this and that, or make it a business, but don't get so crazy with it that you don't take care of your family, don't treat your wife right, or treat your kids right, or friends right. Enjoy life. Everything has got to be balanced. Everything in life is balanced. And so I do believe, I do believe that heaven is only a few inches away from us. I don't think that I don't think that there's a hell really. I think heaven and hell are right here, and it's definitely in a different realm.
Different realm, different dimension. Yeah, it's like right there. People say it all the time. Like, where are they? I'm like, they're right here. It's right here. How about you, Brandon? What do you think? I think that's beautiful, and I agree with both of you. And that's the beauty of all this, to be spiritual and open-minded and because we don't have the answers, but I do believe this. I believe it's almost an individual thing too. It's like what you draw when when hunting, ghost hunting or ghost seeking or just being out there. You're going to draw that, and I think maybe the other side's a little like that too. How about you, Brandon? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a very spiritual person. I believe, the heaven and hell. My basis is Christianity. But as far as the spirits that are here that I've interacted with, my theory is that they're pretty much here and waiting. Or that maybe, some people believe in purgatory. Maybe that's what this is. They're waiting for the judgment day. I have a lot of different theories that I kind of play around with. But yeah, I believe the heaven and the hell. But then again, when you go out and investigate, you get these intelligent answers, and okay, well, why are you still here? Why are you wandering around? Why are you still here talking to me through a different dimension type thing? So what is that dimension? Is that heaven or is that hell? Are they still here because this is their hell or this is their heaven? Who knows?
Wow, see, and again, all of it could be true. All at the same daggum time. And you know how you'll have people who maybe believe in Bigfoot, but they don't believe in UFOs, or they believe in, and they don't want to talk about that, or they believe in, shadow people, but think that, you can't meet with a loved one because they're all demons, and you can't. It's just like, but what? It's all connected, and if it's individual and we're energy and we're kind of manifesting that, whether it's our own belief or our own light or our own connection to the energy. It's the same thing could be true on what we're drawing in ghost hunting, like I said before, because we're not, drawing a whole lot. We've been in dark cellars together, and sat with, it was like the greatest family gathering. My sons both were there. My future daughter-in-law was there. We're all sitting around the chairs. These guys are sitting there. Eddie, I don't know what you were doing, honey, but you missed it. You missed it. Well,
he was at the bar drinking. He was drinking.
I almost wish he was at a haunted bar somewhere having a cold beer with a ghost. But you missed being in the cellar with all of us. Yeah. But, and whatever anybody else's vantage point, I can't speak on that. I can't speak on, evidence got or pictures taken. I wasn't doing anything. I'm just sitting there minding my own business. And I keep getting this feeling, again, can't prove feelings, but there they are. And I kept getting, this is the harlot part, guys. The harlots are finally here, chat. What I was getting was a little bit more sophisticated, like a lady of the night, or just somebody that liked to hang out and go to that nightlife. Not necessarily a prostitute, or this is what I was feeling. And Jim, another gentleman that was in the cellar with us, said something about he was given a cleansing prayer or something in the beginning and telling the spirits there that they could trust us. And the next thing I know is the last person I trust, this is what I felt. This is what I'm hearing. And I start getting a tickle in my throat that turned into a scratch, turned into a squeeze, it turned into a cough. And everybody around me is just looking. It's like, what's wrong with her? She needs some water? And I held up my hand and I'm like, no, because I wanted to see what she wanted to show me. And I saw it, and I saw this is what I saw. And you know what I felt wasn't horror, it was disappointment in the person she trusted doing this to her. And somewhere somebody was getting the word Allie, which was weird for me because I think somebody thought it was Allison. She wanted to be called Allie, and I'm like, no, it happened in the alley. But you can't really talk much. That's what I was getting, and I got it before the word came up. So again, I can't, unless I was to write it down like I'm feeling this, to try to prove it came in before those words, it's really lost. But sometimes I think if I was concentrating on technical equipment, on pictures, on other things, I may have not felt that so clearly the way I did, because that's my gig, that's my equipment. It's trusted equipment and filters and things like that I've learned to weed out the bullshit a long time ago. I felt that clear, and I believe that place was used at one time as a speakeasy. Was it not? Do you guys know any little history on Hoover?
Yeah, I think it was.
Right?
It would make sense that somebody was being choked.
It could have been the town. It didn't have to be a prostitute or anything like that. But it could have been the town girl in the red dress. You know what I mean? It was just like she was the party girl or something. That's the energy I got.
I had audio going, so I haven't gotten to those files yet. I know Brandon, I think, got to them, but
I got all the way up.
I'm curious to see if anything shows up.
Yeah, you got up to what, Brandon?
I got all the way up to my voice recordings and stuff, all the way up until we started using plasma box. I think that's what it was called.
Right.
Okay.
I kind of quit listening. I need to go back and listen to it, but
yeah,
I did get a really good EVP. Michael heard it, and I let Eddie hear it. Michael, did you think that was a woman saying, "You touching my legs, ma'am," or "man," or something like that?
I don't know if it was one of us saying it, but I know that none of us said that. Yeah. And that was in the beginning before everybody got down there, right?
It was just me, Michael, and Mike. I believe it was down in the basement.
Yeah, and we were all spread out because I had photos of us. And we were trying to, Pam had captured a really amazing apparition photo down there. So we were trying to figure out what section of the basement it was in. And I had the photo with me, so I was looking at it. And we were spread out trying to figure out which room it was in. And that's when you got that, right? Yeah. Around that time?
I mean, very clear. Are you touching my legs, man?
Oh, it's very loud. It sounds like a regular person talking.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
It's really good.
I think that house is absolutely, I've said it before, a beacon of light for not just the dead, but for the living. I think there's going to be a lot of good things that happen there, and a lot of good connections between loved ones and whatever. And who are we to say? Like I said, I know I feel it. Maybe, Eddie, I think you said it in the beginning, what you're part of the journey. That you're on. Sometimes other people experience the same thing in the same room, but maybe not understand the significance of it for, 10 years down the line. when you're ready to get it. And I think we all have something to learn from that, because just take it all in and be open-minded about it, whether it's the other side or whether this exists or that. And maybe in the paranormal, if what I would say is basically quit arguing about all the differences, and don't miss the miracle of the whole thing. Because if you are getting somebody to come over, whether they're earthbound or stuck or chose not to cross, or coming back to visit, if that's a possibility, or whether it's a ghost cat going between your legs, or a hug from a friend who you've lost in a tragedy, or your old mom coming back to say that they still love you, and it's such a beautiful subject. And when you add the history, like you guys are fighting to keep going, whether it's at Gettysburg or an inn like the teaser said, everybody here wants, they're all asking for a link. I think that the mods have dropped in, if you haven't, NC HAGS is on Facebook, is it not?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and a lot on YouTube. There's a lot of investigations we did on YouTube.
Okay, and that's by the same name, just they can look that up. Okay, and for you, Mike, Heritage Hunters, and then you have Journey Through the Past.
Everything is on Facebook. I used to have a lot of websites. I did away with them because they weren't getting a lot of traffic, and they were expensive. So I put everything on Facebook. It's just easier. Journey Through the Past is the one page. Also, Michael Ciana, Paranormal Investigator, and also the Heritage Hunter Society. So you can look me up on all three of those and find me and see what's going on. And I also have Locust Cat Productions. So I have a lot of.
He does. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot going on. Now, you guys live enough together so you can go out and you do a lot of investigations often throughout the year, or is it, how often do you get to go now
we
in this crazy world?
We used to do more, and we also did pool parties, cookouts, going out to eat. We still
do that. We go out to eat a lot.
That's great.
We've done a lot of stuff together, but we haven't done as much investigating in the past year or so, because partly because of COVID.
Right.
And life happening, things going on with different ones of us. But that's the good thing, is we've all got these great friendships going between Michael and us and a few other people or other groups, and we've learned we can all trust each other. We have each other's back.
Exactly. And everybody, thank you, Mods, Uncommon Belief, and Pseudonym. Everybody's dropping all your links that you mentioned in the chat. Go check these guys out, like their pages, and then Mike, if we hook up with you, will we get the link when the show drops on Prime? Because everybody's asking about that too.
Yeah.
So
I'll send it to everybody, and if they join my Facebook pages, they'll be able to see the links there as well.
Great. Like I said, everybody here is just loving you. I mean it. We spent not enough time. I think we could have been there a week and not really gotten to see half of it. And Brenda, you said something earlier. I didn't want to let you go without asking you. You said you wanted to get out there on the battlefield more. Did you not get to go during this Gettysburg Bash?
No, we were just kind of exploring different things. I did get to go to, what was the roast farm, Michael?
Okay.
The roast farm.
Okay.
And then there was, what was the right down in town where the bullet went through the door. And
okay, that's Jenny Wade House,
Everything just
Jenny Wade House.
We didn't
took them to Zach's Bridge.
Yeah, we went to Zach's Bridge. Yeah.
We didn't really have time to explore. We were only there for a couple of days.
Because we really wanted to spend a good amount of time at the Bash this year.
Right.
Each time we would go, we'd always investigate. And then Jim was nice enough to invite us to go to the Hoover House anyway. And that turned out to be a great experience. We weren't even planning on investigating that weekend. So that worked out great. That was kind of meant to be. It was by no accident.
Absolutely. I mean, being in that house was just something else. And Eddie, next time, no sleep for you. We're going to get you some monsters or something, or some espresso.
Well, I told Brandon too. I said, Brandon, I kept going back and forth. I said, I'm really tired too. I was worn out. And but every time I feel like that, I'm like, well, what if I don't go? And I missed the opportunity. I said, I said, screw it. So we went. So I was thinking, maybe I just won't go either. And I said, no, I got to go see the Hoover House.
Absolutely.
So cool. And
I'm going back.
Nice.
I'm going back in October. Please come.
Nice.
I'll go back in October.
I'm planning on it.
The last week, I think in October, like the 22nd through whatever that weekend is, because in the fall, you don't do anything for Halloween nowadays. I mean, what's better than spending it at a haunted bed and breakfast,
I've been
what we do.
On Halloween. Yeah,
it's what we do, Yeah. I'm one of those crazy people who never put my Halloween stuff up. You see behind me, that's real. That's not a thing. See, that's all real. I don't even put my Halloween stuff up. I mean, it's out, black cats. I'm surrounded by it.
This is my little,
little
friend.
Look, say hello to my little friends. Yes. Yeah. See, we're crazy.
You got the little eyes going on.
Oh, my. Oh, wow, look at that.
See,
I don't have one of those.
We're all insane.
Yep. I've got crows. You have a talking crow, Eddie? I got a talking crow. Talking raven.
But I've got chickens in the backyard.
Oh my goodness! But see, that's the way it is. I mean, we're nuts like that. But it's not just the
I love
trying to see what's on the other side or getting answers to the questions, because I think we'd be disappointed if we found out all of I don't think we're supposed to know all the answers. But the quest is
the paranormal is the true magic.
It is.
We have so many negative things in life, but there truly is magic out there, and it's in the paranormal.
Mm-hmm. My chat loves my friends. My friends are in the chat and here too, and it's always lovely to bring in like-minded people like you and to come in and meet these wonderful people in the chat. And you can never, underestimate how much it means to come in on a Sunday afternoon like this. You feel good when you walk away from it, and the chat feels good, and it's a nice way to spend a Sunday afternoon about such a great subject and keeping history alive. I mean, that means the world to me. Again, like I said in the beginning, Native American, we just don't want to be extinct. Most of the traditional people are like that, keeping, traditions alive, and the herbal cures and the kindnesses and taking care of nature and all that. And you guys are the same with the history and making sure. You know how many paranormal places have been saved because of the paranormal? I know that's very important, and I know you guys know about that too, where someone's going to get torn down and it gets revamped, very much like the Hoover. It probably wouldn't have been torn down, but it could have been a nursing home again, or a restaurant, or I think it's going to be loved now and appreciated. And I think that the work you guys are doing are helping us, introducing us to other places, and
you too,
so we can love them.
Making these type of shows like you've been creating all these years, and having people like us on, and just having these conversations, it's so great, because there really is no other way to do it, other than getting out there and meeting each other, which that's very hard to do these days. But thank you for putting these shows together.
Absolutely.
It's always entertaining. It's always great conversation.
It is. It's just like sitting around. I wish I had brought snacks. Next time we'll get some cheese and crackers or something, pass them around, and maybe a couple cold beers.
Wine and beer.
Well, see, that's it. A couple cold beers around a fire outside, and just keeping the recorders going and seeing what we catch, telling old ghost stories. I know a few. I bet y'all do too.
Well, I'm sure you know many. We'll have to
Will
meet
you come back and
house.
do it again? Will you come back and do it again? If you get any next time, maybe if you want, bring some EVPs. If you want, we'll figure out how to get them played. Between all these tech guys here that understand this equipment, we could get that done, because they're going to be the clearest EVPs you ever heard. It's not like get out. It's real stuff. It's real stuff.
Eddie knows I'm very strict on high quality stuff, and,
right.
he's the same way. That's why we get along so well, because we're really brothers in this field.
It has to be a good EVP, because unless it's going to translate so other people can hear it,
right,
it doesn't do you a ton of good. And Cisco, I got to say, thank you so much for having us on the show. And I told Michael after I had met you in Gettysburg, we had met you, and then we met a lot of other people. and not taking anything away from the other people, because I did find them to be very interesting and very nice. But I,
bless you, sweetie,
did tell him on the second day, I believe it was, I said, Cisco's my favorite person that I've met so far, because you were so genuine, you were so cool, and just you gave off a great vibe.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot, and you as well. I mean, I think a lot of people there did, but you just held those people that you hugged a little longer. Brandon, I connected with you immediately. I think I said to you, you shocked me, because I'm telling you again, when you turned around, I saw you in full uniform, Union blues, and I swear your picture's hanging in that hotel or downtown somewhere, because reincarnated or not, it was such a shock to me. I tried to cover it up with something stupid like, have I met you before? And Eddie jumps in and says, in another life, which just gave me chills, because I'm like, probably so, yeah, but because it was such an impact.
I scoured the internet for pictures and stuff of Union soldiers, and I found one that was real close in resemblance, but I don't know if it was hanging up in Gettysburg.
Well, I don't either, but you said other people told you look familiar too. So, I mean, I don't know. You've got some historians in there that still read Civil War magazine every month, and stuff like that. And again, I'm going to let you guys go because I've kept you longer, but I want to give this to the chat real quick. I told Brandon when we were talking off show earlier, I said I could name you a couple of stories that happened to off the top of my head. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of them are Gettysburg. I think one was Antietam, the fifth one. But one that intrigued me was a man who had been drawn to Gettysburg and did like everybody, want to go see the battlefield, whatever. He's driving again on that car tour with his wife, and he had to get out at a certain spot and walked up to one of those split rail fences that they still have up there, crisscrossing on some of those fields. And believe me, I'm telling you, those rocks can talk. The wind remembers out there. It really does. Witness trees and all. But he gets out and he walks up, and as soon as he puts his hands on the fence, he could feel it. He got pains in his chest. And he heard the words, "Hello, General." He heard them.
Wow, that's interesting.
He heard them. But, tape recorded afterwards. He heard them. "Hello, General." Okay? He's freaking out, and she sees him kind of like having a hard time. She jumps out of the car and helps him back to the car. He shakes it off and doesn't know how to explain it. Kind of blows it off. Well, about a couple months later, he's at the dentist's office, and he pulls one of those magazines, speaking of Civil War magazine, in Gettysburg, they're everywhere. He opens it up, and there he is, in full garb, old picture of, he said it was like looking in a mirror when he was shaving that morning. And it was a general who got shot, same places he was feeling the pain in his chest, thought he was having a heart attack. And right there in that field. Now, I can't explain that, but that's like spirit connecting enough, or, is it memory? Was there a ghost there that recognized that man's soul? It's a great story, and there's no way to prove it other than it changed that man's life forever. You see? And that's one of the beauties of this type of thing. So, Brandon, I don't know where but honey, that picture's there. I'm telling you.
Maybe when we go back, I'll try to find it and see if
absolutely.
It's up there somewhere.
Absolutely, and I can't pick another 3 people I would want to spend in a dark cellar with in Gettysburg in a 100-year-old house, and it's just amazing to do this, chat. So I highly recommend. We're going to bring these guys on again, maybe next time, also talking about equipment and how to get good EVPs and how to take good pictures and things like that for the people who are interested. But for today, you guys have blessed my Sunday. Thanks for coming in. Anything else you'd like to leave the chat with?
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody.
Yes, thanks for everybody that was listening. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, chat. Absolutely loves you. We're gonna have them back, chat. Thank you guys. Thank you, mods, for being in here.
Thank you, chat room. Thank you, Cisco.
Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Take care.
They got all the links, so make sure you hit these links and go like their pages. And we got a little outro here, guys. You can stick around for it, or you can just you can go now if you like. But thank you so much for being here. All right.
But have a great day. Have a safe Labor Day too.
Oh, absolutely. Be safe. Absolutely, be safe. And just remember, chat, keep your feet under those covers. Okay? And you keep that closet door shut, because I guarantee there are things that go bump in the night. So I love y'all. Happy Sunday, everybody. Keep your light shining. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.